What's up, everybody? I'm back with another video. Please like, share, subscribe to the content. And earlier, I spoke about Stacey Plaskett and how she pretty much lied on the Congress floor as to why she was texting Jeffrey Epstein and tried to justify having communication with a convicted sex offender. Now, Jasmine Crockett is up, and she's actually going to explain um, who also took money from Jeffrey Epstein, I guess, and who was in bed with him, and not in bed literally, but just taking donations, having a relationship with them, whether it's business or a friendship, and so forth. And she's going to do this all in 2 minutes because her team is amazing at finding research. We'll see about that.
Thank you so much. This is a distraction to take away from the fact that the Guardians of Pedophiles is literally trying to protect pedophiles. The president is a convicted felon and an accused sex offender. Stacey Plaskett hasn't been accused of either. So what are we actually here talking about? Trump and Epstein were besties. We've all seen the pictures of them. We saw the birthday book. So why are y'all more interested in talking about Stacey Plaskett than Trump's relationship with the man?
Well, the reason being is because Donald Trump denounced Jeffrey Epstein years ago because found out that Epstein was trying to recruit young girls within his business and also his estate. Another reason why it's more important is because Stacey Plaskett um, was caught red-handed texting Epstein during a congressional hearing. Now, um, if I need to be corrected, please correct me in the comments. But I think that calls for some type of collusion. If I'm not sure, um, because what you have here is you have a woman of Congress, colluding against the president with a convicted sex offender. And the GOP hasn't done anything yet. I think they need to launch an investigation immediately. And I think Stacey Plaskett needs to step down because this is a bad, bad look. And I think what's going to happen with these files being released, it's going to show a lot of Democrats, being in cahoots with Epstein. And I think Stacey Plaskett is one of them. Of course, she openly admitted it, but tried to justify it. Makes no sense. And I think Jasmine Crockett is biting off more than she can chew. Um, because one, she's lying in defense of her constituent, and number two, she's known for just trying to make the truth out of nothing. And what I mean by that is like when she says something during interviews, prime example would be, oh, well, this is why this person took hush money, but we don't know that. Um, that's something that's inflammatory, and honestly, it's it's just not true, But she tries to double down on it as if it were true.
When did y'all become so moral? Because I can remember when y'all went and signed the discharge petition, all of a sudden everybody wanted.
An FYI, a discharge petition is a petition when you want to get a bill looked at on the floor or passed. That's another route into how bills are passed. They go through a discharge petition. You get members of Congress to sign off on it so it can be on the floor. Then once it's on the floor, you state your case about it, and then they decide if they want to vote on it or not. Once they decide they want to vote on it, then they actually vote on it.
Wanted to vote for this, but you wouldn't sign the discharge petition. Until we decide that we are going to go after the actual rapists and pedophiles, miss me with your moral high ground. Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly.
Notice how she says um, finding more people who took money from a Jeffrey Epstein. So her information right there is invalid because it's not credible. It's not from the Jeffrey Epstein. It's from a Jeffrey Epstein. So I don't know what point she's trying to make, but this is not a good point to make. This is the point where you have, factual, hardcore evidence. Now, of course, the FEC, it is public record, but at the same point in time, you have to verify these claims. And by verifying these claims and doing a little bit more research. Now, I do understand you don't have much time to get on the floor and actually do the research, but you should have been prepared. I mean, we all knew this day was coming. We all knew that people were going to get on the congressional floor and speak their piece and have facts about the whole Epstein files because, again, this is what Democrats push for. And I find it funny that they push for this, and the only reason they're pushing for this is because it's the smear campaign against Donald Trump or President Trump. But now they have egg on their face because they're doing the all of the explaining about what is going on, about why Stacey Plaskett texted Jeffrey Epstein. You see how they're trying to cover this up? Because, it's looking real bad for them right now.
Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review.
You're right, they are available for everybody to review, but again, did your team do the due diligence in confirming that information that they came across? And the answer is no. What they did was they just probably went on the FEC website, did a little bit of search here and there, and just started pretty much, saving the page and sending it to her via text message. And she was just opening it, opening it, opening it. Oh, okay, this is great information. I'll have this on the floor. And lo and behold, this makes her look silly because the information is not verified, it's not fact checked. And on top of that, you know, this is honestly defamation because what you're saying is you're saying that former Republican, former Republican congressmen and congresswomen uh, were accepting money from Jeffrey Epstein, the Jeffrey Epstein, and that's not true. And as a matter of fact, she mentioned Mitt Romney. I'm not a fan of Mitt Romney at all. But um, despite false claims made by Representative Jasmine Crockett in November 2025, former Senator Mitt Romney did not take money from the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The confusion arose from the fact that a different person, a Long Island neurosurgeon named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, made donations to Romney's 2012 presidential campaign. So, what you have here is a woman who is lying and is looking silly because she doesn't know how to siphon information.
This is absolutely ridiculous. You decide that you want to punish a sitting member of Congress because you are concerned about her text messages. Well, maybe you should be more concerned about those sex tapes that we still haven't gotten access to. Maybe you should be more concerned with the fact that the president, his name is mentioned in the files way more than Stacey Plaskett's name. Listen, I'm not saying that anything is right or wrong, but listen, if you're trying to figure out what's going on with somebody that's a criminal, then you maybe need to talk to their associates. That's exactly why maybe she was getting text messages. I'm not saying she was or wasn't. But considering the fact that they were talking to another associate of the president's and maybe she needed intel, you'd have to go talk to somebody that maybe knows what he's up to.
Time has expired.
Yeah, time is expired because
It says immigrants with
time is expired because she's babbling. She babbled at the end. She tried to really save herself with that. And you notice how when certain Democrats get on the congressional floor, it's as though they're in the pulpit because at that point in time, they don't even believe what they're saying. So since they don't believe what they're saying, they have to preach to make it more believable, even for themselves. And that's what she was doing. Um, she was just running off on a tangent, in her preacher voice, trying to get people to emotionally agree with her because this is Democrats' playbook: emotional agree, you know, um, list or talk about something that's gut wrenching or hurting to a lot of people. Like prime example, um, they're saying that people that have a heart during these ICE raids would call on ICE, so to speak. And to me, that's not true. But they show like the negative portions where people getting dragged out and stuff. Not the fact that they're not citizens, but they're playing on the humanistic level of, oh my God, why would you treat such a person like that? Well, that's because they're illegal. but they're just, playing on people's heartstrings, with the emotionalism. And this is what Jasmine Crockett does. Now, her show, Clock It with Crockett, she actually goes into detail as to what happens on the congressional floor. So let's just take a listen.
And so MAGA is so scared. And baby, MAGA, listen up, MAGA. Listen.
Yeah, she does a lot of gaslighting and ad hominem attacks. This is her mo. Doesn't pass a bill, but just builds her brand personally.
Okay. Because y'all are worried about the wrong thing. Y'all need to be worried about the fact that like everybody losing jobs and the economy is shit. And like, yeah. And our enemies are somehow now our friends, and our friends are gonna become our enemies. Like we got real issues, but y'all love to listen to right-wing media. So I get up and I
Notice how she took a dig at uh, black conservatives. You guys like to listen to white wing media. First of all, it's right wing media. Secondly, I find this very funny. So the Democrats are about, being different, about having different opinions, so to speak. Um, and of course, they're about radicalism. So I have a different opinion, but they wouldn't be accepting of me simply because I voted for Donald Trump. Orange man bad. He's a fascist. He's Hitler. He's this, that, and the third. When in actuality, he's not. He hasn't set up any gas chambers and he hasn't killed anybody. And here we have this person that's just making, you know, accusatory and very defamatory statements, and I'm surprised that she hasn't been sued yet. Because this is very dangerous rhetoric. Yes, we have freedom of speech. I'm for freedom of speech, but this is like you're just saying all types of wild stuff, and you don't even know like if it's true or not.
wanted to make a point, and I think I made that point. Now, whether or not it went over certain people's heads, because like maybe I get too deep sometimes, but what we're not gonna do
Get too deep. That's ridiculous. So she's trying to defend why she got on the floor, saying that if it's too deep and you don't get it, shame on you. It wasn't that deep. We do get it, and you were lying.
is start kicking people off committees because of who it is that donated to them. And so, yes, anybody can go to fec.gov. You can look. And yes, I did not lie whatsoever. So get over it. I'm still better than y'all. Y'all, you know why? Because y'all go out and intentionally lie to people, like saying, you know,
Intentionally lied to people, just like you did on the congressional floor. You lied. Your angle was to was to try to get was trying to expose people who took money from Epstein. But in actuality, it failed because it wasn't the Jeffrey Epstein you were talking about. It was another person. And you tried to cover it up saying that this is from the FEC. Now you're on Clock It with Crockett. So corny. Clock It with Crockett. So corny. Explaining why you lied. And then on top of that, making compounding lies that's even more egregious. I mean, this woman is unhinged. Like, people of Texas, I hope you're listening out because this woman gets in the Senate. I mean, it's going to be over. I mean, it's going to be a cold day in hell if she were to get to the Senate because this woman is entirely unhinged, man. Like, she's all about making accusatory statements. She's all about rolling with it, even if it's wrong. Like, you got to take some accountability.
you know what? Don't believe your lying eyes that there was an insurrection on January 6th. Don't believe your lying eyes that prices are higher. Don't believe your lying pocketbook that prices are higher. Don't believe the fact that you don't have a job and like the job market is really tight and we have less jobs available than we do bodies to work right now. Like they want you to
That's another thing that's not true. I mean, yeah, the job market is stagnant right now, but there are plenty of job openings. Um, the problem is that there are certain jobs that illegals are taking, and what these illegals are doing is they are pushing the wage costs down, because they're willing to take less. And as an American, you can't really live off of like $15,000 a year. That's what these illegals are getting paid. Some of them are. So, I mean, that's just something that she's being purposely giving you misinformation on, um, because this is what these Democrats do. They give you a bunch of information, it's misleading, and then they try to play emotional tactics on you. If that doesn't work, then they mention Donald Trump, and hopefully that works. I mean, Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, he does the same thing. Also, dream shaking questions to a city near you. I think he's still on tour. But this is what they do. And, you don't have to be born under a rock to realize this, but if you do a little bit of research and some digging, you'll understand that a lot of these Democrats, they have the same playbook.
Never believe what's what, but like, yeah, Lee Zeldin admitted he received a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I said.
Yeah, you said that, but it was from you wanted it to be from the Jeffrey Epstein, not a person named Jeffrey Epstein. You see what she's trying to do here? I mean, this is just egregious. Like, she's still trying to claim that she didn't lie, even though she did. And, it's kind of embarrassing.
It is what it is. Now, whether or not it was that same one, we didn't have time to do all that. But the point is, let me tell y'all what the point is for the people in the back that are really slow. You don't kick people off of committees because they've received a donation at some point in time in history from somebody that has, say, a conviction. Do we want to go down and look at how many times Rudy Giuliani then donated to some of these people? I
No, how about we go down the line of how many lies you have told in this, video? How about we do that? How about we go along or go down the line of how many lies you've told on the congressional floor? Let's do that. She's straight up lying. And I have the article to prove it. So, um, article by Yahoo News, which is supported by Fox News. It says Zeldin, McCain hammer Crockett on Epstein donations claim. And now, um, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin, who clapped back after House Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett said that he and others had taken money from someone by the name of Jeffrey Epstein, took to social media again after Crockett defended her comments and claimed that she was not seeking to mislead anyone. Zeldin began his Wednesday post on X with an exploding head emoji and then declared, "When you find yourself in a hole, it's best to stop digging." Yeah, and I totally agree with him. Like, she should have just stopped digging because it was just getting worse for her. Now, the public FEC report Crockett referenced on the House floor very clearly states that Jeffrey Epstein, who donated to my past campaign, was a physician. And the donation date was well after drum emoji, other drum emoji, Jeffrey Epstein was already dead, he exclaimed. So he's saying that he got the donation well after Jeffrey Epstein was alive. And again, this makes, Jasmine Crockett less credible because her team did not do enough research to even, give that to the team did not do enough research for her to even mention it on the congressional floor. And this is really embarrassing. If I was a congressman, I would be embarrassed, not for my team, but for me, and because I would bear the responsibility that I need to be prepared, and she wasn't. So the dust up originated because Crockett, during remarks on Tuesday, listed figures and entities she said had taken money from somebody with the name Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing that she had her team dig in very quickly. She ran through the following list: Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Winred, McCain, Palin, Rick Lazio. Zeldin fired back on X, pointing out that the donation was not from the notorious Jeffrey Epstein, but from a completely different individual. Yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who was a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, donated to a prior campaign of mine, Zeldin wrote. Um, No freaking relation, you genius. Also, Meghan McCain, who is the daughter of the late Republican senator and 2008 Republican presidential nominee John McCain, also fired back at Crockett, saying that my dad has been dead 7 years. He never met Jeffrey Epstein, let alone took money from him. The Jeffrey Epstein you are referring to is an entirely different human being. Do you have mashed potatoes for brains? You absolute joke. She wrote in a post on X. So yeah, so these comments were not only dangerous, but you kind of insulting. Um, you have John McCain's daughter, Megan McCain, pretty much responding because her father has been passed. Like, she's still mourning, even though it's been a long time, or well, 7 years isn't a long time, but a good amount of time to understand that your father is gone. She still has to relive this moment. Now, when CNN's Caitlin Collins confronted Crockett on Wednesday about Zeldin's Tuesday post that pushed back against the notion that he had accepted a donation from the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the Texas Democrat said that she never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Really? I mean, you guys need to get better coaches for interviews because you guys are just bombing them. If this is exactly what you said, this is horrible. How can you say something like this? First of all, whoever's on your team, you need to fire because for them giving you that information, they really just set you up, or you might have not paid them enough. That's probably what it is. I don't think she paid them enough. Now, unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies, she later said. All right. So obviously she does tell lies. And obviously she's told several lies. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about this because I found this very fascinating that somebody can go on the congressional floor and just start lying through their teeth. I mean, she's not a bad looking woman, so I would understand that, she has a few boyfriends that believe her lies. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section of, this video and some of your thoughts, comments, and concerns. This is Blackwing Opinion, and I'm out.